Hey now. Despite imploding in the 2016 election, Nancy Pelosi says Democrats aren't looking for a new direction and hinted that progressives could take back Congress if an anti-Trump backlash rises in 2018. But the math just isn't on her side. 33 Senate seats are up in the next election, 25 vulnerable Democrats, having them playing defense. So let me ask Washington Examiner senior political columnist Tim Carney. Welcome back, Tim.
Thank you for having me.
I look at some of Leader Pelosi's comments, and I think to myself, what is wrong with her? What do you think?
Well, she had a very telling comment, sort of bad-mouthing her opponent for minority leader Tim Ryan in the press. Before the vote, she said he didn't even carry his district for Hillary Clinton. In other words, she's saying that the Democrats should only be led by people who are from safe blue country, like San Francisco. Yeah. So to me, this is not her trying to build any majority. That's why she doesn't want to change anything. I think, and we wrote this in an Examiner editorial, I think she's trying to build a safe space for nice West Coast San Francisco, East Coast elite liberals there on Capitol Hill.
That's absolutely right. And, I'm wondering, is this wishful thinking on her part, or how do most Democrats feel about this? Were they hoping for a change in leadership and hopefully a change in direction for the party that they hope can once again become victorious?
Well, you would think so, but two-thirds of the Democratic caucus voted for Pelosi, for
and
minority leader.
And a third of those were out of fear.
And Hillary Clinton pretty convincingly won that Democratic primary over Bernie Sanders. But what you could point to is that minority, the one-third that voted against Pelosi and the 45% that voted for Bernie Sanders, that's actually a pretty impressive rebuke to the party elites. But the fact is, the party elites carried the day in both the Pelosi race and in the presidential nomination. So yeah, it's definitely a divided party. The stories we thought we were going to be telling about the Republican Civil War, yeah, well, they're happening on the Democratic side now. It's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think that's something that they didn't anticipate, that it was going to, although, they were definitely going to not gain ownership of the House. They were hoping they would do better in the Senate. They assumed that they were going to win the White House, and when that didn't happen, you had all these people for the first time saying, what have we done here? Now, Senate Democrats are vulnerable in 2018, as I mentioned, and they're looking for payback. Since Republicans sat on that Merrick Garland nomination and, didn't give him his day in a confirmation hearing, are they going to seek revenge in some of these confirmations for the cabinet?
Well, so they certainly will. They're in a different position. They're the minority party in the Senate, so they would have to filibuster. Merrick Garland came up under a Republican-led Senate, and so all they had to do was just deny a hearing, deny moving to the floor. So it would be a little more visible obstruction by Democrats to block Trump nominees. But the conviction on the left now is obstruction carried no political cost for Republicans, for Mitch McConnell when they were in the minority or when the Democrats had the White House. So we're going to do it back. But as you said, the Democrats are defending a lot more turf in those Senate races, and many of those 24 Senate seats they have to defend are in states that Donald Trump won, and so he may actually have some political clout to force votes from a handful of Democrats on his nomination.
We'll see how the economy does between now and 2018, because that is certainly going to be the overriding factor. Tim Carney, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.